In Freemasonry is embedded the core or the secret heart of the occult mysteries, wrapped up on number, metaphor and symbol. Benjamin Creme, The Reappearance of the Christ and the Masters of Wisdom, 87. Numbers are a key to the ancient views of cosmogony, spiritually as well as physically, to the evolution of the present human race. All systems of religious mysticism are based upon numerals. W. in Westcott, The Occult Power of Numbers, 15. The numbers 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 33 and all multiples of them have esoteric meaning to the Brotherhood and are used in a variety of ways. They are geometrically encoded in brand names and encrypted in corporate logos. They are used as numbers of councilmen, signatories, and important documents. Dates with numerological significance are used to dedicate monuments, to stage false flag events and to plan assassinations. Without fail, the Brotherhood nearly always numerically or symbolically leaves its fingerprint. By analyzing these sacred numbers and their interrelationships, occult ideas' secrets begin to surface. The numbers 3, 7, 9, 11, 13, 33, 39 any multiple of these numbers have special meaning to the Illuminati. Notice that the Bilderberg group has core of 39 members who are broken into 3 groups of 13 members in each group. Notice that the core of 39 answers to the 13 who make up the policy committee. Take special notice that the 13 members of the policy committee answer to the round table of 9. You know that the original number of states in the United States of America was 13. The Constitution has 7 articles and was signed by 39 members of the Constitutional Convention. Robert Howard, Destruction of the Trade Centers. Occult symbolism indicates enemies within our own government. What is the purpose of leaving a numerical trail of one's crimes and exploits? Is it an arrogant calicud to share show with other secret society initiates? Are they lucky numbers? Or do the numerals themselves contain some more mystical quality? All of the above. These number codes have even deeper meanings than the more obvious ones of days, months, and the zodiac. Numbers also represent vibrational frequencies. Every frequency resonates to a certain number, color and sound. Some frequencies, represented by numbers, colors and sounds, are particularly powerful. Symbols also represent frequencies and they affect the subconscious without the person realizing it is happening. This is another reason why certain symbols are seen in secret societies, national flags, company logos, advertising and so on. David Icke, The Biggest Secret 83. 5. Why is the highest military rank a 5-star general? Who wears 5 5-pointed gold stars? Why do sheriffs wear a 6-pointed gold star? What do these occult amulets symbols have to do with protecting the country? In Critias, Plato wrote that the numbers 5 and 6 were sacred in Atlantis, where they were encoded in architecture, art, and ceremonial life to honor the odd and even days. The Atlanteans' choice of these numerals reflects their holistic religion, the navel of the world, whose adherents strove for spiritual synthesis and balance. The number 5 represents the male principle of conscious outward action, while 6 stands for female intuitive receptivity. Frank Joseph, The Atlantis Encyclopedia, 206. The Atlantis significance will become more important later on, but for now suffice to say 5 represents the male principle of outward action. Ancient cultures all over the world shared the belief that the sun represented the male principle while the moon represented the female. So a soldier, or sun warrior, wearing 5-pointed golden stars most certainly resonates strongly the male principle energy. Modern occultists believe 5 to be the number of death. The greatest intensification of any number is its triplicate, making 555 literally highest death. Could this be why the highest military rank, 5-star generals, wear 5-pointed stars on their uniform? Could this be why the US Pentagon building is 5 concentric, 5-sided pentagons, with an inner court of exactly 5 acres? The codesigner of the Pentagon, Jack Whiteside Parsons, was indeed an occultist and high priest in the OTO secret society. Jack Parsons, American rocket scientist, founder of California's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and a priest of the OTO, was, like Mormon Joseph Smith, a premier servant of Satan and a rebel against God. He even fancied himself to be the prophesied Antichrist. Parsons wrote this chilling paragraph in his diary, and thus was I Antichrist loosed in the world, and to this am I pledged, that the work of the beast shall be fulfilled, and the way for the coming of Babylon be made open, and I shall not cease or rest until these things are accomplished. Tex Mars, Codex Magica, 44. During World War II, the US Department of War began construction of the Pentagon and changed its name to the Department of Defense. Since then, the US government has conducted countless undeclared wars and propagated them to the public as merely defensive measures, preemptive strikes, or unavoidable conflicts standoffs. Both the notorious Illuminists John D. Rockefeller and Anshel Baller Rothschild had 5 sons. Massachusetts governor and 2008 presidential candidate Mormon Mitt Romney also has 5 sons. A gain of 5 is the male energy of outward action. Then 5 sons is the highest resonator of that principle. It is also interesting that so many of the corporate pre-planned boy-girl bands created by corporations, not by the musicians themselves, such as the Spice Girls, Pussycat Dolls, New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC have 5 band members and each member represents acts dresses in a certain unique way. The bad boy, the pretty boy, the prep, the hippie, etc. The whole idea seems to follow an occult zodiacal agenda, using personality types to sell products. In ancient and modern occultism, the E is very important because it represents the 5th essence or the quintessence. It represents a spiritual power of transcendence, the number 5. So you will always find something in a corporate logo that will tweak the E for a reason. It will always be highlighted in some way, or separated in some way, or dropped in some way. Michael Zarian, The Subversive Use of Sacred Symbolism in the Media Lecture at ConspiracyCon 2003. Take note of E's in corporate logos. Since E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, it is very often highlighted or drawn differently than the other letters. Intel drops the E. Acer makes the E super thin. Crestandly place a sunburst behind the E. Force has the Illuminati pyramid and Microsoft Internet Explorer uses the E icon with Saturn's ring around it. Also note the blue and EL inside logo with the ring of Saturn. Other brands who change their E's include eBay, E-Trade, ESPN, Dell, Acer, Esprit, Express, EB, EA Sports Games, A&E, FedEx, Concept Academy and many more. There are most certainly occultists in high places on Madison Avenue and the advertising industry. 12/13. In Scandinavia, the great Odin had 12 names, personified attributes. The Kabbalists esteem the 12 permutations of the Tetragrammaton. In an ordinary pack of playing cards there are 12 court cards, but in the tarot pack there are also 4 cavaliers. There were 12 recorded appearances of Jesus after his death. To Mary Magdalene, to the Galatian women, to 2 disciples, to Peter, to 10 apostles, to 11 apostles, to 7 apostles and others when fishing, to 500 brethren at once, to James the Less, to 11 apostles, to Stephen at his martyrdom, to Paul at his conversion and to the apostle John. William W. Westcott. Numbers, their occult power and mystic virtues. In the Bible there were 12 tribes of Israel, 12 brothers of Joseph, 12 judges of Israel, 12 great patriarchs, 12 Old Testament prophets, 12 kings of Israel, 12 princes of Israel, and Jesus' 12 disciples. Later in the chapter on astrology it will be shown how these 12s relate to the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 months of the year, the 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. We also have 12 days of Christmas, 12 grades in school, 12 step programs, 12 jurors, 12 notes before the octave, 12 eggs in a dozen, 12 inches in a foot, majestic 12, and 12 years of childhood before the teens and the Jewish bar mitzvah at 13. A common theme in all mystery school traditions is of 12 disciples, knights or followers surrounding a deity. The number 12 is a code, among other things, for the 12 months of the year in the houses of the zodiac through which symbolically travels the sun, the god, symbolized as 13. This is the sacred 12 and 1 as some people describe it, and it is one major reason why the numbers 12 and 13 keep recurring. Thus you have the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 princes of Ishmael, 12 disciples or followers of Jesus, Buddha, Osiris and Quetzalcoatl. There is also King Arthur and his 12 knights of the Round Table, the Zodiac Circle, Himmler and his 12 knights in the Nazi SS, and the woman, Isis, Semiramis, with a crown of 12 stars in the Book of Revelation. In Scandinavia and that whole northern region you find the Odin mysteries, again inspired by the same Aryan race from the Near East. In this tradition, you find 12 drotters presiding over the mysteries with Odin, the sacred 12 and 1 again. These stories are not literally true, they are mystery school symbolism. This continues today with these same symbols used by the Brotherhood secret society network in national flags, coats of arms, advertising and company logos. That Brotherhood creation, the European Union, has a circle of 12 stars as its symbol. We are talking sacred numbers and geometry here. The proportions of Egyptian statues, whether big or small, were multiples or submultiples of 12 or 6. David Icke, The Biggest Secret 823. Still mystically related to the 12, is the more arcane 13. 13 is the 12 around 1. There are 12 jurors and 1 judge. 13 is the master with 12 disciples. 13 is the experiencer of the 12 signs of the zodiac. There are only 12 months in the Gregorian sun calendar, but there are 13 months in the lunar calendar. 13 represents the moon and the female energy, the essence of which has long been silenced by the Illuminati and religious sun worship. This is why 13 is propagated in popular culture as being an unlucky number. It is meant to be unlucky for you, not for the initiated elites who understand its mystical qualities. In the Old Testament, the number 13 takes on the connotation of revolution and rebellion. Genesis 144 reads, 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and the 13th year they rebelled. Hence every occurrence of the number 13, and likewise of every multiple of it, stamps that with which it stands in connection with rebellion, apostasy, defection, corruption, disintegration, revolution, or some kindred idea. E.W. Bullinger. Number in scripture, 205. Alexander the Great ruled for 13 years and bought his horse Bucephalus for 13 gold coins. Then he died at 33. During the Salem witch trials of 1692, 13 women were executed. When the colonies were being set up, New Yorkite Freemasonry had 13 degrees. The original American flag had 13 stars and 13 stripes for the original 13 colonies. Mason Pierre L'Enfant designed at 13th Street pentagram in the middle of Washington, D.C. The D.C. Freemason Temple of Understanding is located 13 blocks north of the White House, directly in line with the Washington Monument obelisk. In 1913 the Criminal Federal Reserve was founded. It is composed of 12 regional banks dominated by the New York Federal Reserve Bank. In 1933 they began printing bills with Illuminati pyramids and Bohemian Grove owls on them. Those bills also encode the number 13 repeatedly. There are 13 stars above the eagle's head, 13 steps on the pyramid, 13 letters in Anut Coeptis, and 13 letters in Et Pluribus Unum. There are 13 vertical bars on the shield, 13 horizontal stripes at the top of the shield, 13 leaves on the olive branch, 13 fruits, and 13 numbers. In the Department of Treasury seal on the front, there is a Freemasonic square, like the compass square on the Masonic seal, and if you get a magnifying glass, you'll see there are 13 holes in the square. Small wonder bankruptcy is chapter 13, since the date, 1776, is placed on the bottom course of the pyramid, on the Great Seal of the US. And since the number 13 has been so important in the history of the United States and in the symbols of the seal, it is not unreasonable to suppose that the 13 courses of the pyramid may represent 13 time periods of 13 years each. Since 1776 in Roman numerals is at the base of the 13-step pyramid on the dollar bill, one could interpret this as 13 cycles of 13 years. 13 x 13 equals 169. Certain researchers have convincingly shown how every 13 years from the 4th of July, 1776 to 1945, 169 years later, major steps forward in the Brotherhood great work have been taken. In 1776 America and the Illuminati were founded. In 1789 the Illuminati stirred the French Revolution, adopted the US Constitution, and Great Seal. In 1802 Washington, D.C. was incorporated into the states, and on it goes every 13 years up to 1945 when the New World Order's United Nations formed, and 33rd President and 33rd degree Freemason Harry Truman ordered atomic genocide and brought the world into the nuclear age. In fact this 13-year cycle ended on the 4th of July, 1945, and it was exactly 33 days later on the 6th of August when B-29 bomber Enola Gay, on mission number 13, dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, and another on Nagasaki 3 days later. In 1948 the Rockefeller Fund funded a new government building at 1313 East 60th Street. In 1962 the Cuban Missile Crisis lasted 13 days, and 13 months later, to the day, JFK was assassinated the 22nd of November 1963. 11 plus 22 equals 33. He was shot in the exact same 3 spots as Mason Hiram Abiff, who, representing the persecution of the Templars on Friday the 13th, 1307, was struck in the back, the throat, and the head. The Apollo 13 spacecraft took off at 13:13 military time, and suffered the explosion 2 days later on the 13th of April, 1970. Michael Jordan, the most successful sports star in history, played 13 seasons and retired jersey number 23 on the 13th of January, 1999. Do you really think all of this is coincidence? What are the odds? So what are we really looking at? We have President George Bush Jr., who is 13th cousin of Britain's Queen Mother, and of her daughter Queen Elizabeth, and is a 13th cousin once removed of the heir to the throne, Prince Charles, officially becoming the 43rd president on the 13th of December of a nation who had originally 13 colonies, who celebrates its Independence Day the 4th of July, which is exactly 13 days after summer solstice on the 21st of June. In this calculation, the 22nd of June is counted as day 1, whom some consider this country to be the 13th tribe of Israel. Bush, who rules from the White House, which the cornerstone was laid by a Masonic ritual on Saturday, the 13th of October, 1792, when the Georgetown Lodge No. 9 of Maryland gathered for the ceremony, which is surrounded by 13 approximately straight lines of avenues which Mason, Elon Fun planned for the city, which were symbolic of the 13 stripes of the national flag. Robert Howard, George Bush Jr. and the number 13 inches. Fritz Springmeier, David Icke and others have documented there are 13 main Illuminati bloodlines. Fritz Springmeier, in his book Bloodlines of the Illuminati, lists the 13 leading Illuminati families as Astor, Bundy, Collins, DuPont, Freeman, Kennedy, Lee, Onassis, Reynolds, Rockefeller, Rothschild, Russell and Van Doyne. Other researchers differ on which 13 families are atop the pyramid. Some say, for example, the Disney, Oppenheimer, Pfizer, Warburg or Windsor families are top 13, but all researchers agree on families like the Rockefellers and Rothschilds. Using gematria, each letter of the alphabet encodes a number from 126. A equals 1, B equals 2 and so on. A word or anagram becomes numerologically significant when it can be mathematically manipulated into sacred numbers. For instance, America Online is called AOL. A equals 1, O equals 15, and L equals 12. These numbers can easily generate and thus resonate sacred 13 through simple means. 1 plus 1512 equals 13. CBS, Colombian Broadcasting Systems. 3, 2, 19 equals 3219 equals 13. NBC, National Broadcasting Company. 14, 2, 3 equals 1 plus 4x 2 plus 3 equals 13. CNN, Cable News Network. 3, 14, 14 equals 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 4 equals 13. TBN 20, 2, 14 equals 20,214 equals 13. CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. 3, 9, 1 equals 3 plus 9 plus 1 equals 13. DHS, Department of Homeland Security. 4, 8, 19 equals 4x 819 equals 13. FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Federal Emergency Management Agency. 6, 5, 13, 1 equals 65 plus 131 equals 13. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. 5, 16, 1 equals 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 equals 13. Miles. 6, Military Intelligence. 6, 13, 9, F equals 1 plus 3 plus 9 equals 13. F, Freemasonry. WHO, World Health Organization. 23, 8, 15 equals 2x 38 plus 15 equals 13. NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. 14, 1, 6, 20, 1 equals 1x 20 plus 6 plus 114 equals 13. USA, United States of America. 21, 19, 1 equals 2x 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 equals 13. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. 14, 1, 20, 15 equals 1,412,015 equals negative 13. NSA, National Security Agency. 14, 19, 1 equals 1 plus 419 plus 1 equals negative 13. They are the ones in the government. They are the ones behind professional sports. The owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers is a Knight of Malta. The owner of the Detroit Lions is a Knight of Malta. All your top owners of these ball clubs, for the most part, are Knights of Malta, getting the people whooped up in this hoopla over games and sports, while they're busy creating a tyranny. So, that was one of the things in the protocols, that they would create amusements. Another one they used was Walt Disney. 33 degree Freemason Disney World, Disneyland. Another one was Milton Hershey, with Hershey Park. They create all of these amusements and games and pastimes to get the people drunk with pleasure, while they're busy overthrowing the Protestant form of government. Robert Howard. 13 and 33 The Freemasons' signature NFL, National Football League. 14, 6, 12 equals 12 plus 641 equals 13 NBA, National Basketball Association. 14, 2, 1 equals 142 plus 1 equals 13 NHL, National Hockey League. 14, 8, 12 equals 1x4 plus 81 plus 2 equals 13 MLB, Major League Baseball. 13, 12, 2 equals 13x1 plus 22 equals 13 PGA, Professional Golfers Association. 16, 7, 1 equals 1x6 plus 7x1 equals 13 NASCAR, National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing. 14, 1, 19, 3, 1, 18 equals 14 plus 1 plus 19,183 x1 equals 13. These numerological equivalents may seem forced or too contrived to be consciously created, and it is possible that some of these 13s are coincidental, but highly implausible that they all are. The Brotherhood has shown time and again their obsession with these codes and numbers. Take 3 or 4 random letters and see if you can reduce them numerologically to 13.